Hey y'all, thank you so much for watching my channel. So today we have a look at a discussion that I had with the panel. I actually love the panel I had. They were so professional.
Yeah, Robert should have his own.
So before I go into the discussion panel, I want y'all to at least have reference of the videos that we were talking about. So here are some clips of some of Kevin Samuel videos.
You feel like a woman like me.
Uh-huh. What would you rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? You cannot use 7.
Would I rate myself?
Just your face.
My face when I wake up, 5, but when I put myself together, 6.
You're average looking at best.
What do you back? What do
Oh
y'all?
man, book a session.
Y'all check it out.
I would have hung up within like 15 minutes. Now I can talk to someone when they're going back and forth. So what were y'all thoughts on it? Is there anything that kind of stuck out to you?
I was thinking just the opposite. That could have been a 30-second long conversation. Why would you sit there and take it?
This is so low.
What was the purpose?
Go ahead.
I could see where he would benefit from it because it went viral, and as a consequence, he's got a lot more viewers, subscriptions, things like that, a lot more attention, eyeballs on him. But from her standpoint, what was the point of her staying on that call? I mean, she wasn't getting what she wanted. She wasn't hearing what she wanted to hear, obviously. And apparently she did want to hear something specific because he was saying what he was saying and she was just tuning it out. So I don't understand why she stayed on that call at all. So I don't consider it abuse unless you say it's self-abuse. He didn't abuse her, she abused herself.
Okay. I mean, well, we could say that. Okay, that's a good point of view. And then I want to say, when she did first get on, he repetitively kept saying, ma'am, this is the wrong day. You know, can you please set an appointment? So at that point, she should have just went ahead and just set an appointment because I would have at that point.
Right.
So
And she said that she was a fan of his content, so she knew how he spoke. She knew how he was.
Exactly.
he's very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll ask this question now. Do we just speak or like how does that work? Okay,
You can
cool.
go in.
So
The reason I said to mute your microphones was because of everyone's talking in at one time and we can't understand each other. So if we're talking like this, it's totally fine. It's just whenever it comes to a point where everybody's talking in over each other, that's somebody needs to mute a little bit.
all right, cool. But
Yeah.
I agree with what he said. He he comes off as disrespectful. For somebody that has his kind of viewing and everybody knows this man and listen to him, he will not let this lady get a full sentence out. Like that's why I couldn't barely watch it because ain't no way you're gonna just keep cutting me off when I came to you respectfully trying to get information. Like, give me your information, but the same way you want me to be quiet while you're speaking, you need to show me the same respect because like this man was dragging her and
Pretty
not
much.
he was dragged like every time she talking like, oh well, ma'am, and then whenever she tried to interject, he like, let me speak, let me speak, let me speak. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. Jasmine, I see you smiling a little bit.
No, because it's honestly surprising, to be honest, gentlemen. There are not a lot of guys who probably would have agreed with you. Like y'all really did hit the nail on the head with that one. Y'all were offering a little grace to the young lady, even though we all can agree that her calling in the first place is definitely self-deprecating. There is no way, but I think it's also it does speak to the need that a lot of women have for male validation. Clearly, she called in because she wants a partner. She needs help finding a partner, so she needs someone to tell her what she's doing wrong. Because obviously, in her eyes, she had all the qualifications, but clearly, there is a feeling of feeling incomplete. So she needed that validation, I guess. But nobody in their right mind would actually have sat there for as long as she did and have taken that. But it just was surprising that I hear guys that agree with that because most guys would have been like, well, Well, I'm not gonna say most guys. That's a generalization.
Yeah,
I do
yeah, that's
apologize.
about right though.
But there's a lot of guys. There is a disconnect within our community specifically. A lot of guys would have felt like, well, black women just don't listen, and he didn't say nothing wrong, and well, if she just if so on and so forth. So I'm impressed. I'm sorry. I hope that's not like condescending to say it like that, but I am impressed.
I mean, half and half, and I agree. Because generally speaking, from me watching whoever shared this video, a lot of the dudes was like, "Oh yeah, man, I love his content. He wasn't telling her nothing wrong." But I feel like it's a way to get a message across that makes you look more civilized. Like to me, he seemed like a person that, and I don't know if he has his own wife, but it seemed like she can't get a word in at the house. Ain't no way.
I've actually
Yeah.
heard that he's been divorced. I don't know if it's actually 3 times. I don't know if that's the official number, but I've heard that he's been divorced quite a number of times.
Yeah, I think it's twice.
I get it.
Twice.
I get it.
Okay.
Honestly, why?
Oh, so if you leave the house and see that it's cloudy, wouldn't you bring an umbrella? The man told her from the very door, okay, ma'am, this is not the day for that. And she persisted. It was always but. She wanted to bully forward. And he even said, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this as a lesson. If you pay attention, it was all the signs that a storm was coming and she was willing to weather the storm. And he did use her as an example. She used herself because he warned her from the very beginning.
So y'all, let me ask you that. Oh, go ahead, Jasmine. Yeah, so let me ask you this. So the beginning of the video, this is a question. So one of the first things she said was, you know, she was looking for a man who has money. What was it? A billionaire or something like that? She went somewhere.
6 figures.
A high value.
There you go. 6 figures. 6 figures. Right? So that was her standpoint. So looking at this situation and with her looking at that, do y'all think that money is important when it comes to marrying someone? Do you marry someone for money? Go ahead.
I feel like marriage. Okay, as far as the construction of marriage goes, I feel like it all depends on the two people that's involved in it. Because marriage for one person isn't marriage for another person, or even the goal set for that marriage is different depending on couples. So if I could say, in my opinion, and something I want to do, marriage is money is very important as far as me getting married, because I have a set of goals that I want to complete in my life, and money has to deal with one of those goals. So, but overall, I don't feel like money has to be a thing, because sometimes, I mean, a lot of couples are content with not having a lot of it. So to them, it's not important.
Right. So what about the aspect of her saying as well that she believed that the man she was dating was beneath her, right? So that's a big one. You have something to say, Robert? Or you just agreeing?
Now, in the very beginning, she said that she's a fan of his content. She knows his work and his philosophies and all that. So now, that being the case, she went in looking for a high value man. When he started asking the question of if she qualified for that man, it was well, no, but. So it seems like she called in for advice, but not the advice that was real. She called in to hear what she wanted to hear. Like you said earlier, validation. And that validation was not met. So she would try to get around that corner, but he was like, no, but it's not that. So, but in her particular case, I just didn't feel it was realistic. And he was trying to let her know that, and she just wasn't trying to hear it, which is the case in most recordings that I've seen from him.
Yeah, and I think that, okay, so when it comes to Kevin Samuels, we all know that he's very, very like straightforward. When he says something, he kind of like stand by it, he gonna drive it, right? So when it comes to him, for me, like I think sometimes he's right, but I don't agree with everything he's saying, because I think some things just a little bit too, he pushed a little bit too hard. And for instance, before I saw this video, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be transparent, right? Before I saw this video, I always felt like growing up, I've always been taught, you know, the man gotta have this, the man have to have that. And then I had my list, and that's what I was going by, right? I just went by that. I never in my mind thought, I don't know why, what does the man want, right? So I'm not saying what Kevin Samuel's saying is all 100% correct. I am just saying I now realize, hey, I need to think about what the man wants too. It's not all about me. I need to think about, hey, you better just have this, and I don't care what you want. This is what I want. So watching his videos really, really showed me, hey, okay, I need to look at, hey, what do men want? Because very rarely do we hear what men want. Women, do y'all agree? We really, I mean, we may hear the rap songs and stuff like that, but very rarely do you hear what the men want. Because men really don't speak that much. When they do speak, we tear them down. Like they come into, if they come into a barbershop, I mean, not barbershop, they come into a hair salon, they come into, you know, with the ladies having the girls tonight, and they say something, oh, it's over. You know not to say nothing, right? So that's why I said I wanted this platform to be like open, and everybody who's on here is pretty open, right? We agree. You might not agree with what somebody say, but you can discuss it. Mm-hmm. So, ladies, have y'all had that same experience? I mean, it's not like you don't care. What men want is just didn't think about it. When we're growing up, you don't. It's not taught.
Let me go first. Is it that you've never heard what men want, or you just never listened?
Well, that's it. I didn't listen. Y'all don't say it enough.
So can I piggyback off what you said?
I never heard exactly what men want. I mean, I don't know. So that's for me too. I don't think I mean, I feel like you guys don't express yourself enough, like at all, like how women express themselves. So
right.
Yeah.
I agree. Women don't express themselves the way men don't express themselves the way women express themselves, but we express ourselves. And sometimes when your words fall on deaf ears, you give up.
Oh, Jasmine?
Yes. Okay, so I just think, honestly, in our community, and we can see this with the momentum of, or what's the word I want to say? I'm just gonna say the momentum of this conversation itself. We don't know how to communicate. And it's not that it's falling on deaf ears. We just haven't I feel like we haven't really taken the time to learn each other. Like we're constantly pitting back and forth with one another. We're constantly saying we are listening to respond as opposed to understand. We have a lot of that in our community. But piggybacking off of what you were saying, Portia, oh my gosh. Like I had my thoughts together, but you kind of blew my mind. Now, I think absolutely what Kevin Samuels said, everything he said isn't wrong. I think it's how he's saying it. I also think it's about intent. I feel like it's more so about marketing and capitalizing off of the plight of the single Black woman. We even thought, if we're honest with ourselves, we've even found that with the Black church. It's a lot of marketing off of single Black women and their need for companionship. But with regards to what you said about asking about what guys want, oh my gosh, I've had that experience. And honestly, when that person actually told me, I was like, dang, guys really do think like this. Not that there's anything wrong, but I think it's definitely new and refreshing to actually hear something honest. And then you're like, okay, so this really is a thing, huh?
Even though it's brutally honest,
it's honest.
It's honest, yeah.
Right. I'm gonna say this. I don't think Kevin Samuels speaks for men, but he's more he encapsulates the essence of what a man thinks, and he's just more articulate than your average man. So when it comes out of his mouth, it's coming straight at you and it's sharp. It's not softened like as your everyday man would come at you, because he has a show in the business and all that. So it's more business-like, as opposed to it's coming from a man who's trying to get something from you. That's what it is. That's why it's so sharp. He's not trying to get anything from you. And like he often says, you know, I have over 800 videos. Most of those, the first 3 years, were directed strictly at men. Now, so let me ask you women, have you heard any of those? Because he comes at men 3 times as hard as you women. I've heard him for an hour long talk about, man, how you need to scrub your balls, how you need to wash your taint. You understand what I'm talking about there, Jeremy? I mean, coming hard. And if he would have talked to a woman like that or anywhere near like that, I mean, he's talking to these guys as if he was their father, putting them in training. And a lot of guys need it, but the guys don't rail back against it. That's the difference. It seems the females will hear that truth and give that pushback, whereas the males just, okay, well, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, just seeing that video and hearing her answer when he asked her, okay, what do a man want? And one of her answers was, she know how to plant. I was just like, oh, girl. And then he was just like, okay, today's world, like we can grocery shop, we could go to the store. We don't need you to plant. I mean, you can plant. But go ahead, Jeremy. I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Just to add on to the what do men want thing, based on my own experience, because I've learned growing up that a lot of us individually don't understand that everybody has their own perspective on life. So then we like to overgeneralize things because then we think our logic runs the world, but all of us live in our own universe mentally, because what's morally right to you or wrong to you might be different from the next person next to you. So to continue on my point, in my opinion, a lot of women that I've dated or known about, they don't really ask. They assume what a man wants based on the stuff they've seen and heard. So then they think, I'm gonna cook his food. I'm gonna fix his plate. He gonna get some vagina. They don't think about I need an ear to listen to. I done came back from work. My back hurting. Maybe I want my back rubbed. They don't really know what we want. They assume it, and then whenever they find out that what they were doing isn't what we really want, they feel defeated and always sit back and be like, I mean, you never ask, because normally men will come and ask a woman like, hey, what do you like? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? We don't get asked that. We get asked, if you want to go on a date with me, you need to pick the place, you need to bring the money, and that's it. So in my opinion, women assume what we want based on what they hear versus the person that they're literally talking to.
Right.
I have something to add on to there. I don't know if y'all can hear me because my computer has been going in and out. Could y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I've had my ex basically tell me exactly what he wants, but does the opposite. The opposite of everything he wants. So that's why I say I don't know what a man wants. Because you tell me one thing, but you're gonna do another. It just makes no sense. You just tell me you want to be in a relationship, but you do another. Even to a guy that I wasn't dating when I was in another state, they tell me what they want, but then I see you talking to other girls on social media or something like that. It doesn't make sense. So yeah.
I just want to say, we don't ask what you want because we probably already found out.
Oh, do tell.
like literally, we learn what men want from other older women.
Yeah.
Like, we learn from other women what men want because men are not saying it.
Are those
you know what they're saying, but we're not listening.
I have a question. So are we talking about what men want as far as like what they're attracted to in a woman, like as far as initiating the interaction, or are we talking about in an actual relationship? Because I think the two are a little different.
We're talking about in an actual relationship, like what do they want? Like what makes them happy? So pretty much in the context of the video, when Kevin Samuels asked the young lady, what do men want? What do you have that men want? What is something that's gonna, attract them to you? Just, the basic essentials. What do men want? What do you want your woman to do for you? What do you want, What's gonna make you comfortable? Go ahead, Jeremy. Maybe explain it more, because
Oh no. You were explaining it right, but I'm gonna just give an example of the things I want as a man, in a woman that I'm talking to. For one, I do love when a woman cooks for me. I love being cooked for. To me, and this is something me and my older brother always say, you gotta chew to live. So if somebody feeding you, they want you here. To me, they want you here because that's how you stay alive, is you eat and you go to sleep. I also like, and then I like intelligent women because I discuss a lot of things throughout the day. So I like feedback. I like debating. I like bouncing ideas off of each other because, like I said before, I understand that this world is full of perspectives, and I want to get to that place of understanding to where I can move through crowds and not think just with my own thought. I could probably like at the understanding I am now, I could pretty much read a person based on how they talk. If they looking around, they looking down. Because this is something I ask God. Like when I pray for understanding. Like that's one of my biggest prayers. I want to be able to understand, be a very understanding person, even to the point to where in one of my relationships, I got cheated on, and instead of leaving, I sat back and like, what could I have done, or where was I lacking where she felt like she needed to step out? I'm not saying that's something that everybody should think about because sometimes people are just ain't shit. I mean, excuse my French. I don't know. I apologize for that.
Hey, y'all adults.
I apologize for that, but
you're good.
I got to that place to where I didn't think, oh, she cheated on me, or I'm out the door. I was like, maybe I was lacking somewhere, and I soul searched. And when I came to the conclusion that I wasn't lacking, I left. But I didn't just leave. I sat back and thought maybe I did something because I've cheated before and I've got cheated on, and I understand from both parts of the seat. The person I cheated on, they was lacking, no attention, no affection, always excuses why we can't hang out. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna just get the attention from somebody else. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Well, why not just leave at that point? Just out of curiosity, like if that person's lacking, why not just say, well, you know what? Instead of cheating, just like ending it altogether.
I have to answer this one because I answered this recently. The same reason women don't leave when they get cheated on. Why y'all don't? Because women don't. Women will get cheated on and they'll get dragged and dogged for years. Is because they really want to be with that person.
Okay.
That's the same reason for me. If I don't really just want to leave you at that point, because if normally whenever I get into a serious relationship with a woman, I look for that path to marriage because I don't get with you for a couple years and then be like, well, we served our time together. So to me, if I want to be with this person, something like cheating shouldn't be something that strong to break in a relationship. To me, if cheating could split a relationship, it was weak to begin with. Because people don't understand marriage. Like people think about marriage and they get all these over romanticized movies of happily ever after, but marriages go through fights constantly. And I've heard that from many marriages that have lasted 50, 60 years. They've gotten in the worst fights. They done tried to kill each other. They done probably stepped out 2 or 3 times, but it done got to the point where they're like, listen, I want you. Like, whatever bad you're doing doesn't weigh enough for me to separate from you. That's my answer to what you said.
But at what point does that become toxicity? Like
at the beginning. Go ahead.
What he said. No, but I'm gonna piggyback. But we have literally what he said. It's the beginning, and that's another instance of or a part of a relationship people don't understand. How I see relationships, tolerance level is top 3 because you only gonna tolerate so much from certain people. Like, say for instance, a stranger. A stranger can't walk up to you and just say anything wild out their mouth because you're gonna look at them like, who the fuck are you talking to? Meanwhile, your boyfriend or your significant other that you love a lot could push your buttons a lot harder than a stranger can. So to me, it deals with tolerance level. If you really love that person, you're gonna tolerate a lot more than the average person. It sounds bad. Tolerate sounds bad, but this is real life. Like if you water it down, it's tolerance. You're gonna tolerate a lot more from your loved one than you will from a stranger.
Right. Robert, I see that you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my perspective is a lot different. For me, I see cheating not only as a deal breaker, but multifaceted. It's not just if you go ahead on and mess around with another man. It's if you lie to me. Is if you purposely try to deceive me, you cheating me from the truth, and you gone instantly. And I won't even argue with you. It's like that show Cheaters. Well, okay, you see that they're cheating. Would you like to go confront them? No, that's okay. Y'all could go home. Y'all could pack it up. They stuff is gonna be on the front lawn, and I got nothing else to say. Because what I'm gonna do is just deprive you of my company, because that's the esteem level I'm on. So to answer the question previously posed, as to why would you tolerate someone cheating on you and going, I look at it from a self-esteem aspect. You have to have a certain level of insecurity and not think that you can do any better than someone who would purposely deceive you.
I
So
kind of
that's
disagree.
the way
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but I've never seen myself with someone who, okay, you want them, you can go have them, and I'll do better than you because I can. And that's the way I view myself. It's not that I see you as such a great, I'm such a prize, well, I'm going to deprive you of my company. I'm going to hurt you by leaving you out of your life. That's how I see that. And it's not a matter of bravado. I think I'm all that, but I think I'm better than to be cheated on.
In that situation.
And that's the way I see it. And I think any man or woman should see it that way. A woman more so. If a man does this, be out the door and not even discuss it and leave. And you don't have to wonder why. You know what you did. I'm not going to fight and argue with you and back and forth with you and try to give you an opportunity to get back in my good graces. It's dead. It's gone. And it's buried and over. And you could go. But that's just the way I see it. As far as in specific, or lying. I take no tea for the fever, but that's just my personality.
Yeah. I agree. Simply because I understand what you're saying about tolerance. I'm sorry, Portia. Did you have?
No, go ahead.
I have to step away for a quick second.
Okay. Should I keep going? I understand tolerance. I do believe that tolerance and unconditional love is a part of love. However, at some point, it does become one-sided. If you're constantly tolerating a pathology that you discuss with that person, they refuse to change because of love. I don't see the need in continuing that relationship.
No, that's where I agree. I don't feel like a person should constantly be getting cheated on. No, that is not what I was saying.
Okay.
Because to me, just like you said, that definitely deals with insecurity issues. Because like I told you before, whenever I got cheated on, I sat back and thought maybe it was me. But then when I came to the conclusion that it wasn't, I dipped. Yeah. My point is, there's so many things that could end a relationship, and people feel like cheating is the end of all. And I'm gonna tell you why I feel like it isn't. Because of the times when I've cheated. People think cheating is cheating. Something else I don't believe, because I see everything in gray. I don't see black and white. Whenever I've cheated, I was unhappy in the relationship, a relationship that I wanted to continue. Now, mind you, when I cheated on the person, and this is not me trying to give it brownie points or make it less worse. I've never stepped out and was telling another woman, hey, I want to be with you. Oh, I love you. Like, the person I cheated on literally knows your vagina. I have a woman. Like, I don't want you. So we gonna have sex and that's it. Ain't no dates, ain't no money getting spent, ain't no affection getting spent. And again, I'm not saying that makes it better. It doesn't make it better, because cheating is cheating.
Right.
But I also understand that cheating isn't just how it's in movies. Cheating in movies is like, oh, he's sneaking around. Oh, I love you, baby. I can't wait to leave this lady so I could be with you. I feel like that level of cheating, where the affection is split between two people, yes. Because you're telling this person, oh, I want to be with you. You're also telling this person, oh, I want to be with you. I want to marry you. Like, I don't know. That's just my interjection. But yeah, I need to dip for a quick second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I understand Jeremy's point of view, and I also understand Robert's point of view. Because they're both speaking their truth from how they see life, their life experiences. So from their standpoints, it's both true. So I see both sides. Darian, did you have something to say? Did I see your hand up?
No, I didn't have my hand up.
You didn't have it up? Okay, I'm just checking.
But yeah, I'll just give my input though, but I don't think I could really tolerate cheating either. Probably not even one time. To me, that's like the ultimate disrespect. And I do think it's sort of a double standard. I think a lot of times guys cannot tolerate a woman cheating on them. I don't know if it's like, like nature or something, but yeah, I can't tolerate that. But I don't know. Everybody's different.
Is it emasculating?
Yeah, I think it may be biological. I don't know, but yeah, it is. It can be emasculating as well. It's just too deceptive for me. I don't know. I feel like I could just find another woman that is more loyal. I mean, to me, that's the solution for that, of handling that. But
not only that, it's dangerous.
That's true.
Now, if I'm messing with a person who I'm thinking is exclusively mine, I'm more or less probably not doing so with protection.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you're accustomed to and you go ahead and cheat, who knows what you're bringing home to me? Now you're risking my life, as if you're bringing somebody home who would put a gun to my head. Or let's just suppose you're cheating with a guy who you don't tell about me, and now he thinks he's the one, but he sees us two out. And now he approaches me, because something like that has kind of happened in my past, and it's been like, it wasn't until me and the guy got together, it's like, wait a minute, I thought that you were the brother-in-law. Oh, but no, she never told me about it. But it was about to be a thing, but it wasn't until we got together that, okay, she was playing both sides of the fence, and it was like, you know what? I ain't got no problem with you. I have a problem with the lie. And she's the only one who knew the truth. Now, either one of us could have died that night. And that is true. So that taught me at a young age, hey, man, this goes a little bit beyond just what's on the surface. This is life and death.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So, I like that point of view as well. We're gonna go to the next question, okay? So this is probably the last question on this video, and then we're gonna go towards the next video with the two young ladies that were in the car that was talking to Kevin. So the last question for this video would be the point that he brought up when he was speaking on women who have children, because he literally just like canceled her out. Hey, you got a child, blah blah blah. Now I know he was referring to six-figure men. But I know he can't be referring to all of them. But because we don't know too many six-figure men, let's just talk about men in general. That's how we're going to base this question, okay? So men in general, because I've seen a lot of men, well, I'm not going to say a lot of men, a couple who have married someone who had a child. So let's talk about Jasmine.
No,
that face, girl. You got something to say?
No, I was just like,
yeah. Tell me what y'all think about that. What y'all think about the point of men dating somebody who has a child? Any point? Jeremy.
Yeah, I feel like no. I was raising my hand. I feel like that was just his opinion. That was a very strong opinion of his own. Because that, like I said, that doesn't encompass all men. Because I know plenty of men that have married women with many kids, like 5. So I wouldn't do it, but I mean that's not the case for all men. So, but he's very strongly opinionated, and I want to say for the majority of men probably do feel like that. Like, I'm not about to just come in here and just have an army, and then I need to add my own kids onto it, and you won't let me have it, because that's a case too. But I mean, that's his opinion. That's not true.
I have a question also. How many of the guys in here are okay with getting with a woman, marrying a woman that has kids?
I would.
Gary, you said you're okay with it?
No, I'm not okay with it. I would not marry a woman with kids. I don't have any kids. I would rather marry a woman that does not have kids. I would rather raise our own kids, have kids together. I feel pretty strong about that, honestly. Yeah.
Robert?
I absolutely agree. That's a deal breaker. It would never ever occur. It wouldn't happen.
Wow, it's a deal breaker.
What she does, what she looks like, it would never occur.
Wow.
Honestly,
Honestly, reason I have none of my own, so I have no desire to raise someone else's.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the
Because
thing.
I have a daughter.
Get absolutely nothing from it. What do you get from it? That child, whether he's 4 or 40, would never pass on your genes, would never bear your last name. And at the end of the day, regardless if you spend your whole life and thousands of dollars on that child, could turn around and say, "You ain't my father." And I'm just not the type whereas I would put my hands and raise discipline a child in my fashion if he's not mine. I'm just not cut from that cloth. And if that's the case, I'd rather not have anything to do with it. Because I was been in a situation where I had to get on. Me and the mother was going at odds about her not disciplining the child. But this is your child, so I shouldn't have to discipline you to discipline your child to make. It's just an uncomfortable situation and a thankless job.
I can understand that.
I agree.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing now is pretty much what someone prefers. That's what I'm hearing.
There's a preference.
Not prefer. If you would be okay with it, like if you love the person and she has a child, y'all been on. Robert just like no.
I mean,
I think it looks like it's both ways. It is your opinion.
Yeah.
If you're okay with it. Because Darren is like, no. Robert is like, no. Jeremy, he's like, okay. I mean, it's okay.
I mean, I have my own child, so on my end,
okay,
a woman would have to be okay with that. So I feel like I have to give that same possibility over because I've also heard women say he can't have his own kids and she got 3, and I'm like, how that work?
Wow.
How does that work?
And I want to talk from. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
And from that standpoint, I want to talk from. I can't say all women. I'm just gonna say how I grew up. It's just I was always told, hey, if a man have a child, then don't get involved. You have to deal with the baby mama and all this stuff. But as I got older, everybody around my age, they already have kids. You can't cancel people out just because they have kids. That's like canceling out. We really don't have them to pick from. But that's like canceling out a whole genre of people, a whole population.
No, you can. You definitely can.
Yeah, you can.
They only have one child.
Why not? Why not? A lot of black women won't refuse to get with white men. That's canceling out a whole segment of the population.
That's right. Okay, I'm not attracted to white men. I'm not.
Well, I'm not attracted to women with kids.
It's a preference. Everybody felt like, oh, why won't you date a fat woman? Why won't you date a tall? It's your preference. It's what you want. It's that simple. It's literally that simple.
I think.
Wow.
I think our preferences. Everybody has a valid point. Like you're not obligated to date somebody with children. However, the only thing with what Kevin Samuel said, what I thought was it just kind of like how Jeremy used himself as an example. There are plenty of men with kids as well. It doesn't like to say that automatically excluded her because she has children. It doesn't sound like he took into consideration the men who have kids as well. Like there are plenty of people
a high
who
value. He wasn't talking about
there's plenty of high value. Okay, I understand the high value part, but there's plenty of high value men with children as well. So they don't want women with kids either.
Not to,
because they have a lot of them have. I'm sorry.
He says that he values the woman. In fact, it gives you less value
in the market. In the market,
it depreciates the woman basically.
Yeah. And that's what I mean.
It's like a car.
Articulate the average guy. He articulates it a certain way. Whereas, I can see that. He makes a convincing argument because of the way he encapsulates his argument. Now, I'm not a high value man. I'm not 100,000 6-figure earner. From that standpoint, a woman with a child, because I'm at the stage where, if I get into a relationship, it's a serious relationship. It's not just, oh, well, let's just see how this goes. So from the very beginning, I want to know if you meet my criteria. So if I meet you and it's, oh, yeah, I got 2 kids and this and that, oh, okay, I'll have a nice day. But if you don't, oh, no, I have no children of my own and I do this, oh, okay, nice to meet you. You set a certain criteria and you have standards that, okay, this is what I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm not. And I think that is all based off your life experience. Had I not gotten with a woman who had children previously, I probably wouldn't have this attitude because I would not have my experience. But because I've had the experience that I've had, I know the pitfalls. Oh, okay, I know not to do that again.
Right. So what I can tell is so far, because I don't know how long Kevin Samuels have been voicing his opinion. I've only saw a couple of his videos. The first one I've ever seen was the one that we're referring to right now with the lady from North Carolina when she called in. Because it went viral and I was just like, who is this guy? So I had to do some research to start looking at the videos. So what I can say is, even though I may not agree with everything he say, some things is kind of valid what he says. Not all of it, but some things I can kind of agree with. I think that he will maybe open up a floor where men can like talk out more. It kind of like maybe say what they want more and then stand on it a little bit. I'm guessing, you had one more thing to say?
He made a great point. He said a lot of men in our community are raised by single women who are forced to be more masculine to take on the role of the father. So it seems that strong women raise weak men. So if you've grown up in a house with a woman who's do what I say, is your mother basically, that's the only point of reference you have to work from when it comes to finding a mate. So when you see a black woman who's overbearing and loud and boisterous and aggressive and all of those things, you may not mind it as much. It may be commonplace to you as opposed to someone who doesn't have to tolerate that as much because they're good. And this is what he comes back to. We're talking high value men who really don't have to put up with that. You talk about the run of the mill scrubs, rusty, dusty, crusties. Oh, okay, they're going to do what you want them to do because that's what they're accustomed to. But if you have a certain standard set in your mind of what you will and will not put up with, then there's certain line you've drawn a line in the sand.
Okay, all right. That's a good point. All right, y'all. So we're gonna move on to the second video. Okay. So the second video is a video when you saw the 2 ladies. Looks like they were sitting in the car, and then they were asking Kevin some questions about when should you get married, dating, and things like that. So since they were on the subject of marriage, and he was saying that I think he was referring to like other ethnic groups marry younger than blacks. So to that question, do y'all think that we don't get married as young as other ethnic groups because men are taught to marry later than to marry younger? Because I've heard
Yes.
Mayana?
Oh no, I'm just agreeing to what
you're
you said. I agree with that.
Jasmine?
Yeah. Well,
do y'all
I think millennials in general are not getting married as soon simply because we don't live in the same economy that our grandparents did. The education level is not the same as our grandparents. Most people, like middle class America, went to war, came home. Well, in the 40s, during the build of the middle class, they went to war. They came home. They went into industrial jobs, and they had families. It's not really like that today. And
because I think that I've heard so many times when someone in the black community, if they're like 18 or 19 and about to get married, the first thing someone says is, "Oh my God, you're too young to get married. You need to experience life." Like, I'm not saying it's right, but have anyone ever heard that in the black community?
Yeah.
Someone's too young to be married. Like, we don't push young marriage. We push experience life, whether that's going to school, getting your degree, or just go and just experience what you can experience. And then when all that is done, then you go into marriage. That's how our culture, I think, with the community I've been in so far, that's how you're taught.
So that's interesting because that is, again, referencing back to the fact that education and the job market at the time appeared to be more plentiful. However, the way he was like, away from what he was saying, he was kind of discouraging it. So that is interesting that you would point out that it is encouraged within our community, but he's saying no, we're too busy chasing careers. You should be married by this time. By the time we're done pursuing our career and securing our career, we're not going to be wanted anymore simply because we're older. But I mean, it's like, is that bad? How's that wrong? Because now we have advantages to provide a better security for our children and grandchildren. But if we like, I was somebody understood, like I understood what he's saying, but if someone sees the validation in what he's saying, please enlighten me.
Well, I mean, marriage is really ultimately to reproduce. And so I think, once a woman gets to a certain age, it becomes harder to do that. So I think like biologically or psychologically, men look at younger women and subconsciously they say, okay, she's fertile. So I think it kind of goes back to that as far as like our ancestors and stuff like that. So and as a woman ages, unfortunately, guys like beauty. That's really the first thing that catches our eye when we see a woman is her looks. And, she's 60 years old. I mean, nobody's really 50, 60 years old. Nobody's really looking at her like that. But that's just.
Okay.
No, but
My
you're right.
opinion.
Biologically, I didn't take that into consideration. Go ahead.
Okay. In my opinion,
Yeah.
marriage isn't solely for reproducing because you could do that without being married. To me, marriage, if you look back at it in the old days, marriage was to construct families with because what the one thing that gets passed along when you have kids is genetics. And back in the day, that's what it was. We gonna make as much kids as possible so we could pass on our gene pool. And marriage kind of kept that in order versus you just spreading seed all over the place. You had all your genes coming from a specific place. I think that's what marriage came from is a family construct. Well, I guess the original point was what Buddy said about marriage. I feel like I see what he says, and at the same time I don't, because like I said, I see things from a gray area. I feel like nowadays a person could do what they want because there's many situations of people getting married in older age, women and men. Where I see his point is a lot of people, like he said, a lot of people done gave themselves away to so many people.
Yeah.
Before they done met that one person. Now, mind you, the one person that they spend the rest of their life with has nothing that they got from that person by themselves. They done shared this, that, and the third with all of these people. So by the time you got to that woman or man, the things you've been doing, it done got old by now. You 30 something, you done been doing this. I mean, it could be whatever, sexual, whatever. You done did this with so many people that it's not special anymore. So I feel like in that sense, if you get married earlier, you and that person grow and learn together. A lot of the stuff that's been given away is all given to that one person versus, like I said, you meet this one lady in her 30s and she's sexually experienced because that means whoever she has sex with got everything you got. So ain't nothing you getting special. Even just the way she cares for a person, she done cared for so many people. She done probably got trauma from the things that she should do, so that now she doesn't want to do it for this man because I done did it for him, but he done shitted on me. So now any other man ain't gonna be able to get. So now your husband gotta deal with the fact that you're not gonna do certain things that he want because another man killed it for him. That's why I see the positive part of that opinion he had. I get it. Like that's something I've never gotten. Like I've never had a person, like a virgin or whatever. So everything I've gotten from another woman has been shared. So there's nothing special. And on my end, it's certain things that I've never done because I want that to be for my wife. I want to be able to give her something I've never given nobody else. So I mean, that's my opinion on that.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to share? I'm gonna go to the next. Go ahead.
Well, as far as just taking it back a little bit, as far as how marriage is encouraged or discouraged in the Black community. Uh, just me personally coming up, I've never even had a discussion about marriage or whatever with anyone older, my mother. It's never been, it's kind of like the birds and the bees. It's something you assume your children know or will learn eventually. I've never had those discussions where someone sat me down, like, now look here, Robert, don't you get married to that girl. It's never occurred. As well as having children out of wedlock is not very heavily discouraged, because you had see kids having kids at very young ages. Now, that being the case, how can you turn around and tell that kid who's having a kid not to marry the father of that kid? I mean, it could be bad, it could be detrimental or not, but I think that if you put the horse before the carriage, you're starting off bad to begin with. Marriage is the least of it. It's having all these children out here. And now you got the single mothers who looking now after the fact for a husband, and that's where the disconnect comes about. See, Kevin Samuels asks very specific questions like, okay, what history do you have of cooperating with a man? When's the longest standing relationship that you've had with a man? Oh, okay. Where's your father at? He'll ask questions like that. Okay, where's your example of positive masculine energy? And if you don't have that, how can you even say that you're prepared to be a wife? What are your qualifications to be a wife? You say you're looking for a husband. What do you have to offer? And it's these questions that bounce back and forth that makes me a fan of his. These are the things that he articulate that most people really don't consider on the grander scale, that he brings to the forefront. And it's sticking people, it's needling a lot of people who have fell victim to that, where you have women with 2 and 3 kids and no man around for years. And now I feel I deserve this because I've attained this academic achievement. But like he points out, I don't care about your piece of paper. What can I do with that? I don't care what your money. That's not mine to spend. You focusing on the wrong things, as if you're coming from a masculine standpoint. And so it's those questions that really bring it really coming from a person who's never been married, that don't have children, make me think I'm been on the right track the whole time.
Okay. So y'all pretty much answered my second question. It just literally just went on into it. And it was, do you believe, y'all answered part of it. It was like, do you believe that the reasons why, like our elders, like, back in the old days, the reasons they got married are the same reasons why we get married today? And y'all kind of already touched on that a little bit.
I even close.
Jeremy?
Y'all I said,
go ahead.
No, and I see how we did, but yeah, we haven't got married. What we think of marriage and what they thought of marriage is completely different.
Yeah.
And to me, a lot of that comes from television, movies, and books over romanticizing things.
Yeah.
A lot of people read these things and in their head, oh my gosh, this sounds so beautiful, not knowing what actually occurs in marriage. The fights, the don't leave me, baby, please come back, like, because that happens in marriage. There's never been, and I could be wrong because I've never been married myself, but I'm pretty sure, based on the human experience I've had, there's never been a marriage that went longer than 10 years where they didn't fight back and forth. Probably them broke up and separated, but then they always came back to that conclusion where this is where I want to be at. Or they never come back from that conclusion. They come to the conclusion where this is it. I done did all I can. So I'm out of here. And a lot of people, a lot of the long lasting marriages, it never got to that point because they had goals set in mind to what they wanted to accomplish. And they said it like, that's how I see myself getting married. Whoever is that lucky woman because she would be very lucky. Likewise, I will be lucky to her. We gonna sit and talk. It's a list. We got goals. What you want out of this? What I want out of this? And we gonna put these goals on paper or whatever, and we gonna accomplish them. Like a lot of people get married on this love thing. Like all they think about marriage is love, and they think that's all it is, and it's not. Marriage to me is it's almost like a foundational formation or something. Because what comes out of a marriage? Like that's what people need to ask themselves. What comes out of a marriage? Like what's the actual end goal of it? Because the end goal of to me is not to die with this person. Because what happens in between you first meeting them and when y'all die? There's a lot of stuff in between that.
Yeah, I agree with that because I do think society over romanticize, or how you say it, marriage, love, and everything like that. Because that's the reason why I did not want to get married. I saw people in marriages as instead of just watching TV or watching how society views it. So I didn't want to put that work in. I know if somebody cheat on me right now, it's like a quick gone. I don't put my all into it because I don't want nobody hurt my feelings, hurt my heart. So I don't want to be married at all because I don't think I can put everything in it right now. I need to be ready, everything emotionally with everything that goes on with it. So I do agree with you.
And how do you come to that place?
Yeah.
That's a question. How do you come to that place? Where's your ready?
Oh, you said how do I come to that place?
Mm-hmm.
Experience more in being open with somebody breaking my heart. Like I cannot stand it. Like I haven't been in much relationships because I'm petty. If you do something to me, I'm going to do it back. Like I feel like not saying that I don't need a man, but I feel like if somebody hurt me, I'm gonna hurt them right back. Like it's no kind of, love conquers all or anything like that. That's just how I am. And my sister knows that's how I am too. So. Yep. I don't know how I come
totally opposite.
Yeah, my sister is totally opposite, but I'm just like that. And that's why ever since I was younger and I'm about to turn 30 now, like always felt that way. I don't want to be in a marriage. I want a good relationship, but not a marriage right now because I'm not ready for that. And I can honestly say that.
Not. No, I was just about to laugh at Yana. The love conquers all. The love conquers all.
I'm petty. You do it real.
But Robert, what you said about marriage not being discussed in your household, I can relate. Like my parents didn't discuss marriage, so it's like this is a conversation I was having with myself. It's like how exactly do you learn how to become? And I guess you never really know, but it's like at what point do you begin to examine yourself and say and ask yourself what makes a good spouse, what would make me a good wife, what would make somebody a good husband. But then again, we also have this conversation where Jeremy so eloquently pointed out, because honestly, as I said, Kevin Samuels, he made great points. I think sometimes he's hard to receive. And I think perhaps maybe men, because y'all understand the intentions of where he's coming from or the diction of which he's stating making his points, maybe you guys understand that a little better. Whereas women, we are emotional, so we're likely to hear the roughness and hardness of it, like, what he mean by that? Like, why he got to say it like that? Because I took away as I mentioned, I took away the career aspect, and I was like, well, why does it have to be that way? But I digress. He does make great points. And with regards to people gaining all of this experience and giving so much of themselves away, it's like, I guess at what point do people learn to become good spouses? If being overexperienced is a bad thing, or is it like more so about intention? Does it have to be something that's intentional? You have to be intentional about becoming a spouse.
You do.
Okay.
I think so. I believe so, because my whole life I was content to be a consummate bachelor, and my attitude was I don't want to get married, But if I meet a woman who makes me want to be with her for the rest of my life, I'll drop to a knee and give her the biggest carrot you ever seen in your life. No problem. But one thing has to come before the other. I have to want that from you as opposed to want it in general. And now I'm just looking for someone who also wants it. I think that's the thing. And so what Kevin Samuel says specifically in this video with these women, he was asking her about her school. Okay, you go to Notre Dame. Okay, you're a junior. Oh, okay, how old are you? Oh, okay, well, when's the last relationship? His thing is he's asking her, are you a wife? And a wife is someone who I'm married now. I'm a wife. No, you're a wife before you ever even meet a man. The same way how you're feminine before you meet a man. The same way you're submissive before you even meet that man. You have to be that thing. It's not something you become. It's something that you are. So if you're looking for a wife, you're looking for a woman who's there already, who has that mindset already. And so if you pay attention to his videos, the women will come up, oh yeah, I'll be feminine for the right man, or I'll submit to the right man. And he says, no, you're not a wife then. You're not there. Because if you just happen to bump into that man in the elevator, you don't know who he is, but he can see right who you are from the door. And he's not going there.
Okay.
Boy. That's not the
That's
first
a
time
hand
I've
clap
heard
too.
Robert. Oh.
Yeah, Robert should have his own. Robert should.
Ooh. Boy, you just did that.
All right. So, anybody else had another response after that? Because I think he kind of. Go ahead.
No, just a piggyback. Listen, boy, you said that. But literally to piggyback off of what he said, you gotta be that thing before you even get there. Because your mindset, your mind acts and then your body follows it. And that's why nowadays you're starting to hear a lot of people talk about speaking into an existence, because that's literally what it is. If in your mind you ain't nobody, you ain't gonna put effort into nothing. So you're gonna end up being a nobody. Versus if you keep constantly telling yourself, I'm gonna be a millionaire, your body gonna make moves in that direction. You're gonna get up, early like you're supposed to, you're gonna do the research you're supposed to, you're gonna do everything you need to get or do to get to that point. So just like with marriage, if marriage is what you want, it got to be something that you practicing mentally in your head. It got to be something that you are. Like that's why I say you really did that, bro. Like you touched my soul with that one. Like when you were just talking about, like, this man is preaching, but, for real. But even with Kevin, a lot of people see what he says as harsh because in today's society, we're supposed to be politically correct. Everybody's soft to hear the truth now. Everybody's way too soft to hear, hey, you're doing bad. Because even if you look at it in the industry, I'm gonna give you, because I was talking about this with my coworker. You see how the like a job position janitor went from custodian to maintenance. You know, it went there because people started feeling some kind of way when you calling them a janitor, even though that's exactly what you are. They feel like that. So it softens the blow when you call me a maintenance technician, but you're not. You're a janitor. That's what the job is. You're cleaning toilets, you're pumping them out. But people so soft nowadays that they can't take real. Or even nowadays in school, you know how they used to have first place, second place, third place trophy.
Yeah.
Now they got participation ribbons. You winning regardless. Regardless you put in work or not, everybody get a trophy. That's not good because then you're teaching this child you don't got to work as hard as him. You're going to get the same results though. And that's the same thing with marriage. Women think they just got to be here to get married. And then there's why you got other women putting in work, making sure that they prepare for their husband. Then you got other women just like, well, I'm here, so I'm gonna just get married. And that's not how it's supposed to work.
I agree.
So for the next question, because y'all really pretty much just tied in tonight. Like, y'all have anything else to say about that? Because
yeah, I do. Okay, so I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so I think a lot of I'm sorry, forgive me if this question doesn't or statement doesn't come together completely, but I think a lot of that disconnect comes from the fact that there are men who will say, "Oh, well, you gotta like." I find that there's like almost like a paradox. So you have some people who will say, "Oh, well, you gotta bring something to the table. What can you do? What can you do?" And you have this 50-50 the rise of the 50-50 relationship. But then you get down to women who do want careers and do kind of want to be married, who want careers and marriage at the same time, and then you come back to well, what have you done to prepare for marriage? So where I guess my question is, what it goes back to the former question, what do men really want? Do they want the woman who contributes the 50-50 or who's bringing something to the table, or do they want the wife?
What do men want?
I believe.
The man, you,
Go
Go ahead, Darian.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I believe that most men just want a supportive woman who's feminine, who's not competitive, and just respectful. Honestly, I believe that's what most guys want. We don't care too much about how much money a woman is making, how driven she is with her career, which is a good thing, but that's not really what attracts us the most. I think what attracts us the most is femininity, however you say that, and just encouragement from a woman and respect as well. Respect is huge, really huge.
Oh, that gotta be a lie. I don't know if that's all what
No, I think so. I mean, I left out.
Like we work so hard. It shouldn't like. I think a woman can do both. We can be married and have a career. We can do it both. Of course, when we're pregnant, we have a baby, whatever, we have to take care of the child for a little bit. But I think we can do both. Some men ask for us. I mean, in this day and time, you need two people to run the household. It can't be just a man unless the man just got a lot of money. Like, I want it both.
It takes a lot of cooperation.
Yes.
Find a woman who's on your program and you heading in the right direction. All you need is her to be the wind at your back.
So men.
A man. It depends. I mean, I'm saying of course, it depends on your amount of finances and where you are in life. But if we're speaking in terms of the Kevin Samuels thing, he's speaking of a high value man who's not concerned with the woman's money. And that's where the pushback from the women are. Well, my daddy raised me to, get my put school first and put career first. And I need to get my degree and I need to, I'm a PhD and then, all this stuff. And okay, if that's your focus, then family can't be. Family can't be. And if it's not, then what qualifies you as a wife? If family isn't your focus. See, a man is a protector and a provider. If a man is a man who's you looking to be your man, then he should be able to protect and provide for you. And you handle all the rest. But if it's not that, then you're talking about a partnership. And that's not what I see marriage as. If I'm in a marriage, I got to be the head because I'm not looking for your money. I'm not looking for you to provide anything. If that's the case, you got to follow me. And if it's not that, then you're not for me. It just depends on your vision.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
Are you saying that if a woman puts their education first and have their own career, you wouldn't want that? You want to be the head, the breadwinner, all that?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can't put your education in that first. Then that disqualifies you from being someone who's a family. You just said it. Your woman puts her career and education first. And if you put that first and I'm your husband, where's that put me? Second?
No.
Then where's it put me? Third?
No, you can do both.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
You can't do
No, you can't.
In two places at one time.
Yeah, you can. It's called multitasking.
You can. No. Oh, okay. All right.
But most women aren't doing both. Like that's the issue. Most
That ain't what they said. They said putting it first. That's what you said too. Putting it first. Put your career and your education first. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I think that you
That's
can
what
do
you
both at the same time. I just think that in my head, you can have a successful career and a successful marriage. I think that you can do both. I've never been married. Huh?
Show me outside the Cosby Show where that actually works.
Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be. I don't know.
Well, let me
Like preaching again. Preaching again, boy.
So you gonna get on
my hand up. Can I answer? Except for like maybe a pastor and a wife, and the wife is usually the first lady is usually always under him. I don't think that she doesn't have to have a life. I don't see many successful marriages. I just say that right there. Even since I was younger, growing up to 30, I have never saw a really successful marriage except for my pastor and his wife. And my mom and dad is still married, but it was some struggle, a lot of struggle in there. My mom has a career and my dad has a career or had a career. So I'm not saying it cannot happen, but I do know sometimes one falls short, but it's not to say that somebody can't do both. That's just what I think.
Ask you this. Go ahead.
No, based on what she was saying, you literally, I mean, it's slick contradiction because something has to be first, second, third, or something's going to fall short. So if the career is first, you can't husband and career can't occupy the same space. Now to go back to can a marriage work with two people with separate careers? Yes, but that doesn't mean she got to that success because her career was first. She probably put her husband first to where they had enough space to where because there's certain times where a man that makes good money, he finds him a woman and at a certain point in time he tells her like, listen, if you want to go to school, you can do that. That's him letting her, trying to find a word. That's where the cooperation come in. That's not her saying, "Oh, I want to put my career first." It's probably the career is going to help the foundation itself. She probably ain't put the husband the career first. She put her husband first, and then at a certain point in time, he offered that olive branch like, "Listen, you want a career? You could go ahead and do that now, and even if we just dial it back, it all depends on the individual couple, what their needs are." Because a lot of the stuff we're saying is generalized. Oh, what men, marriage, this, that, and third. It's up to what these two want. If they want to go 50-50, they can. We might not think it's good, but if it works for them, it works. Me, I'm going to be head of household, of course, but I also want a partner because I want support. Because there's a lot of ideas I have in my head that I can't do alone, or it would be better if I had that support system to where I could go ahead and focus on doing what I need to do as a husband and a man of the house. So I want a partnership, but I'm also the head of I'm the head of household because I'm the man. I'm going to ultimately make the decisions, but my wife will be counsel. That's how I see my marriage. My wife is counsel. I'm going to speak to her first, and then I'm ultimately going to make the decision afterwards after I got input.
I think that's good, and I think y'all are mixing up. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna tell y'all what I think y'all think. Okay, but I think y'all are saying that if a woman has a career, the man can't be the head. Like for me, I love the man to lead.
Not at all.
Huh?
Not at all. No. Not at all. Go ahead. Finish.
So that's what I'm hearing. So I am hearing what y'all saying. Okay, so I believe that a man could still lead and be the head. Maybe you know what? I think I just messed up myself. Anybody else have something to say?
No, based on what you were saying. Go ahead.
Y'all are three men from three different backgrounds. Y'all don't know each other at all. Y'all never seen each other, right? All three of y'all, the men.
No.
And y'all pretty much all are kind of saying the same thing. Y'all literally.
All men say that they want to be a head of household. It's just I don't know, because I am putting my career first, it's just aggravating. But I don't want to be married right now, so I'm okay. I'm good. But my career is gonna come first. I don't care.
Right. And now, question for you:
I think
if your career comes first, why would you even want a husband? What is he for?
Who you talking about?
You just
Oh, I was about to say I don't want a husband right now. I just want a relationship.
right. That's what I'm saying. So that kind of X's that whole thing out.
And it's okay.
I know, right?
Right.
That is okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I wanted both.
But I'm not. But the thing about it is, other women that want their career and a husband, even though I don't want to be in a marriage. But I know a lot of women that want their career, put their career first, but still want someone by their side. They want marriage. So I'm just asking for those women. That's all I'm saying.
Question is this: what do you want a marriage for? If your career is first,
I don't know. I have to ask them that.
did it even serve? Why?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll
Jeremy?
Huh? Oh, my bad. Sorry. That's another thing. I don't feel like marriage is for everyone. Because in my head, marriage serves a purpose other than I'm gonna be with you till I die. It's a purpose behind it. So I don't feel like marriage is essentially for everybody. The one thing God told us to do is be fruitful. Like He ain't say y'all had to get married. Spread your seed. Have many kids. He didn't say you have to get married. He did say if you find a woman, you find a good thing. That's if. That word if is in there. You might not find that good woman. You feel me what I'm saying? So or even in a sense to I feel like again you can have a career and be married, but you also gotta understand the construction of a marriage. The husband and the wife gotta come first. They can't come second. So
Okay.
I mean, that's just how I feel about it. It can't come. You can't put your spouse second to your career because I don't think you could occupy two spaces and put the same equivalent amount of energy into them. Because if you let's say you are giving it equivalent energy, it's weak. 50% is weaker than 60. So whatever energy you are putting in towards both, you're not putting enough energy into either. So one gotta be. So if you push your career first, you probably putting 70% into that career and 30 into your marriage, or vice versa. It's to me everything is a pie. It's 100%, and you can't I don't. That's just how I feel.
That makes sense.
I think
I
it goes
understand
back
now.
Yeah.
earlier point as far as how many of our grandparents and people in the olden days, what did they get married for? The men was the ones providing and protecting. They were working. The women, I mean, you did what you did, how you could, but the man was the breadwinner. So I understand it from that standpoint. And the man wants some companionship. He wants a woman to be there with him to cook, what he brings home or whatever, things like that. I mean, that's where the foundation was. But the point was you had your role. Everybody had their role and their part to play. And that's what made it work. Now, when you start blending it, well, now I'm the provider and now you sit home and play Mr. Mom. Now things get and you're the provider. Now you're the decision maker. Oh, okay. Now, how does a man feel about that? Now you got your tug and pull. Now you get my woman at home don't respect me. How are you doing? And that's where that comes from. Okay, my man at home, he's weak. He's a he, she. How are you doing? And that's where the disconnect comes in. People need, I believe in a marriage, there's certain roles given. And as long as you can accept in that role and there's that dialogue beforehand, there's no problem. But it's like, I'm sorry, it says Portia Benjamin where your sister,
I know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
address you. But it's like what you was, that's absolutely fine if you're not in that place. I wasn't there for years. And my whole, whoever I got with, they asked me, you want to be married? It was long. But if you, I'd like to be with you for as long as we both want to be together. And when one of the two of us don't, you just go separate ways. And we don't have a third party. You don't have to get divorced. You don't have to do the paperwork. You don't have to ask the judge, what can I take and who does what? It was just, what you wanted to do. And that's how it was.
Yeah.
But I believe that experience is the cruelest of all teachers, if for no other reason that the the lesson comes before the test. I mean, the test comes before the lesson. You really have to be tested when it comes to experience. And then after you've experienced it, now you know, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that thing anymore. So it's all a matter of experience, which you don't get, don't come up from, I don't know how many of you, 2-parent households, all of you come from, not me. I mean, even though my mother married my father, by the time I came of age, it was done. So I didn't really see mommy and daddy doing this and that. And what I did see, I didn't like. So my perspective of marriage is skewed in that way. And all my family members who have been married, it just came and went. So that's my experience.
It's the same way here.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Because
Yeah.
we grew up in like our mom and dad stayed married this whole time, but just because you're married don't mean you don't go through things. And it can be toxic when you see someone going back and forth for years and years and years. You're like, where's the love, right? So I think just because you see a marriage, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's a good marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why I have that perception of marriage, and I don't want to be married because I saw what my parents went through. I saw other marriages, and they were not good. They put on faces when they went outside, and then they were another way in their house. So that's why I don't want to be married, and that's why I have that mentality. If somebody do something to me, like cheat, or it can be whatever. I'm going to do the same thing because I don't have that same loyalty to you because you don't have it to me. So I'm not ready for marriage because first, what I saw, I'm petty, and I don't have time for it. Until somebody show me different and I get more experience or whatever like that, or maybe I fall deeply in love with someone that'll make me change my mind, yeah.
And that's cool because we grew up in the same household, but we both have two different outlooks on how we see it. That's her outlook. Me, I'll give you chances. I like to get to know someone. But her, bye.
You ain't getting no chance with me if you cheat. You done.
It doesn't matter if you've seen a marriage or not. That's not what it is. But you can grow up in a household and see a marriage and still feel certain ways. Jeremy, you was going to say something. What were you saying?
I kind of was about to backpedal a little bit about the roles in the house. Because again, like you said, I do believe marriage come with its own set of rules and roles that have to be played correctly, or it's not going to work. Now, going back to breadwinner, I've been in a relationship where the girl I've dated made twice as much as I did, but I still was head of the household because she still respected me as a man. She offered, not offer to leave. I kind of say take an offer because I don't go into nothing unless I know for sure. So I've been in a house where she was bringing in way more money than me, but I still was at the end of the day the man of the house. So whatever decisions I said or did, it was final. Oh well, like I said, I get my input, but then at the end of the day, I made the final decision because it's roles. So to me, I don't think the amount of money in my opinion, I don't feel like the amount of money being made means anything. Unless it depends on that person. If that person feel like, oh, I'm making the most money, so I should make the decisions, then it changes it. But for people that understand those roles, a woman stepping in understands that she's submissive.
Yeah.
This is marriage. She's submissive and he's the head of household. I didn't grow up in a house with 2 parents. Grew up in there with one. My mom did it all by herself. My mom was a longshoreman. I don't know if a lot of y'all know what that is.
Yeah,
That my mom was a longshoreman since I was 10, and she's still a longshoreman. 22 years on the dock. So I've seen my mom work tirelessly, and I've also seen the woman. My mom had 2 sides of her. To me, she was a breadwinner. She was the affectionate mom. Made sure I had everything I could. She was a discipline. She did everything. So I kind of fashioned what I want out of a woman from my mom. She worked a man job, but she still was a woman. After she took them dirty ass clothes off, she throw cologne on, she washed, put on nice clothes, lipstick, get her hair done, woman. And I don't care if my woman has a career, long as she know I come before that career.
Yes.
I'm not telling a woman you can't have a career with me.
Yeah, we agree with that. That's what we were saying.
I agree with that. I like the way you say it. Now I can. Okay.
Right. The same way any woman will want to come first in a relationship with a man. You don't want to hear, oh yeah, my career come first. Ain't nobody want to hear that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Because that's not sexy. Like, you literally telling me in my face, you second.
Yeah.
To something that's not tangible.
Yeah.
Like, like that don't ever sound right. My career come first, so I'm just a used tissue on the side. Is how I always do that. Like, that's not cool. Like all of us is pretty much saying, but in different words. It's possible, but again, we talking about marriage. It comes with a set of rules. You can't tweak them. You can't tweak them and think it's gonna work. Just like if you got a car, it came off the lot like that, and you went ahead and moved the battery so that it runs off of this, and then it start blowing up. You did that. You should. It came this way. It came with a set of instructions. It came with a manual. It didn't say run the speakers directly from the battery. And you feel me? That's people do those things and then wonder why the speakers stop working. Because you did it wrong. You should have left it how it was. The marriage comes with a set of rules.
Yeah.
And you just gotta abide by them. It's just simple.
Okay. So I mean, pretty much, it comes. Y'all all said the same comment. Y'all have the common denominator. Is marriage. We all know that the man is supposed to lead. He's supposed to lead, and he's supposed to be the head. And I really do, and I agree with that, you guys. And I really do think it really depends on the woman, because you have a woman that has a personality that's like alpha or whatever like that, and she's like, I'll bring the money in the house, you ain't do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's nagging. But I think if there is someone who has a career that's not overbearing and that's not like kind of, like you said, 60-40, if you're not giving more than to your husband, because it does say, husband and wife, y'all do come first. I know y'all are together, that's the first thing. But I just think that it just depends on, like you said, how much she's giving towards it. So I see y'all common balance. But I think if a woman is making more or she has a career that's doing better or whatever, it's just how she treats the man. She still knows that he's ahead. Right?
Yeah, I think that's tough for a lot of women.
Darian ain't backing down.
No, I think No, I think it's tough for a lot of women. Oh, go ahead.
No, because go ahead, because you haven't been talking that much. I don't hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, because in the corporate world or whatever, in the job market, I mean, you sort of have to present yourself in a certain way sometimes, like as competitive and kind of a hard shell sometimes. So it's kind of difficult for a lot of women to make more money than the man and go outside in the job market, act a certain way, and come back. And then they look at the man, he's only making like, $12 an hour, 13. That's kind of hard to do, to respect him as a man, but
yeah.
It's
why would
probably
she be with him?
Right.
Why would she even be with somebody that she couldn't respect? And that's why that goes back to me. Like I said, I've dealt with somebody that made double what I made, but she respected the H out of me because she know what kind of man I am. I stand on my 2 feet, and that's it. I don't waver. I don't waver in my ideals at all. Even when it comes to my career path or whatever I got going on, the women I go after see the value in me. And that's another thing. You go after what you want or the reflection of you. Like the women I go after a certain kind of women. And I guess I'm losing my wording, but every woman I've been with respected me as a man because they see the kind of man I am.
And I think it depends on the woman. Like you said, it depends on the woman. There's some women, because I've dated men before who probably wasn't making as much as me, but I still respected them. It really depends on the woman. That's what I think it is. Okay, so now y'all, because we are going into like an hour and 30 minutes now. We've been on here, so I have to kind of get to the next questions. But I want to say I like everybody's opinion. Y'all are really, really great y'all are great panelists. I want to say that. Great.
Thank you.
Yes. So what I'm gonna do is the last two questions. I'm gonna see if I can kind of put them together. So the first question is, I'm just gonna tell you both, and then however we answer them is however we answer. If we answer both or not. So the first one is, okay, Kevin Samuels in a video, he was talking about how, when you're in college, white women or, Caucasian women, any other ones, they're looking for a husband during the time. If someone marries them, they go right ahead and get married. And then usually when it comes to us, we're like, okay, let me wait till let me focus, let me graduate first, and then we can go, and then from there or whatever. So another thing about marriage, do y'all think, because there's a high percentage of our Black men in prison right now, not all of the men that are in prison right now are they actually committed the crime. Some of them are like literally wrongly accused, and they've been in there since they were 18, 19. So I want you to answer this question. Do you think that a lot of Black women aren't married because not only are we marrying later, but also we don't have that many to choose from? I mean, they're literally taking our Black men and they're putting them away for years and years and years. And then the second thing I'm gonna ask, because you can answer either one you want, is Kevin Samuels also mentioned that women need men. We could not survive without men. So he pretty much used the example of, you put a woman in the wilderness, could she survive? Now, if you would have asked me that like a year ago, can women survive without men? I was like, yeah, I see it happen all the time. But when you get that example as in, okay, if I was to put a woman in the middle of the wilderness, could she survive? An animal, a bear, I do understand that men have like more strength and more power than us. So I've never been the type of woman like, I don't need a man. I always know that, we need them. But the reasons we need them, we just kind of overlook it. Oh, well, I don't know if it's just me, but you kind of overlook it sometimes. But I do see how much we need men. But in the same token, I also feel that we need each other. I think we need each other. It can't be just because if there were no women in this world and it was just men, y'all would need us. It can't be just we need men and not women. And in the video, what he said was, no, it's not that way around. It's only one way around. Women need men. And he just left it at that. So let's answer both of those. That's a whole lot. Y'all ready?
Okay.
Yes. I agree with your the latter sentiment. Starting there, because when you said that, I was like, women and men need each other. Unfortunately, the thing is, we're not equal, but we equally offer certain characteristics that benefit one from the other. So, although a woman can't survive in the wilderness by herself, if a man lives in the wilderness by himself, how will he reproduce? If the objective is to pass your genetics down, how are you going to do that without a woman? So although men, as we've already established, men are the protectors. Men are natural protectors and leaders. Women are natural nurturers.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I really didn't understand. I got where he was going with it, but like you said,
I agree with everything he said.
Yeah. What he said was they could survive. They couldn't
question,
reproduce, but they'd survive.
As
saying a woman wouldn't survive.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I interrupted. Go ahead.
As far as the first question goes, that was with regards to women marrying later.
Yeah.
I think it's because, like you said, it does have a lot to do with the mass incarceration rate. I think it also has something to do with the fact, again, going back to education, a lot of women don't want to marry down. Unfortunately, there are more Black women. Not saying that Black men aren't, and don't confuse what I'm saying with me saying that somehow Black men are not educated or intelligent, because that's not necessarily the case. But as far as formal education, as far as the degree, as far as the paper, there are more Black women who have obtained that than Black men. So there are a lot of Black women who feel like they shouldn't have to marry down. Um, there's I've heard people mention that homosexuality plays. I'm just putting it out there that
I
plays a
thought
role.
about that too.
Plays a role.
With
So
friends.
yeah, there's a couple of factors, and then of course, again, what we talked about earlier about marrying later. Biologically, time isn't really on our side, so there's something to look at, I guess.
So
I guess. Oh no,
ultimately,
go
we
ahead, Robert.
can, no, go ahead.
No,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no. My
No,
bad.
I was
You literally started talking, and then I started talking. So now you go ahead, please.
uh, just to follow up with Jasmine, what you said. Well, what do you see the solution to be then?
With which question?
What with the last part of what you said, of how sometimes the men on the homosexuality, how do you get
Oh no,
around that?
I didn't really have a solution. She asked if I perceive the question to be, do we really believe that? And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Portia. I
Okay.
perceive the question to be whether or not the mass incarceration rate actually affected why women were getting married later. And I didn't have a solution. I was just kind of agreeing that that likely is the case, or plays a role, is one of the factors into why there are a lot of women who either don't marry, like women who don't marry or marry later. But I didn't have a solution.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, but I think that that's done by design. That the whole mass incarceration thing with the Clinton administration and the three strikes thing, I think that's done by design. Just like back when there was when welfare came, the welfare bill was enacted. Okay, we'll help out these people who are lower income. You just can't have a man inside the household. That was all done by design. I don't know if you all know that was a rule that your women could not get welfare if there was a man in the house.
Yeah.
So now that did a lot to divide the Black family. Whereas if you had a man who was not making so much, okay, dude, you got to go because I need this government money type thing, and that was big because during the civil liberties time, the 50s and 60s, we trying to get civil rights. Black families were marrying at a higher rate than they are now, and there was more to divide us then than there is now. So, it just really seems like a lot of that is done by design, and that's the reason why I asked the question. I don't think there's much that can be done about that, but still, just
I
to
totally agree.
the progeny of our race and the forward movement of our community, there has to be a solution. And as far as homosexuality being prevalent with men, I went and got my hair cut today, and there was not one but two women. I don't know if they consider themselves to be women, but came in there just as butch as you please, and I see it a lot more. I can't say more often than men. I cannot say that, but it goes both ways. So there's a lot of things that are working to divide families, mainly Black families, by design. But and that's why I say if we can't come together, and that's why I like the Kevin Samuels his content, because what he says at the end of the day is, well, I got 6 people married who hadn't even considered it before, and there's 4 who are engaged. So this is working. It's opened up dialogue between us too, whereas before there was just discord and confusion. Whereas you say, I don't know what a Black man, I never even considered what he want. I was just concentrating on what I could bring, and that's may not be what he wants, but that's where I think the value of his content is. It
Yeah.
at least starts a dialogue.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have much.
Okay. So that's
Portia,
Oh
what do
well,
you think?
yeah. What do you think, Portia?
Jeremy.
Homosexuality.
Yeah,
As a woman who wants to be a wife, what do you do?
Are you talking to me?
You're Portia.
Homosexuality, I mean, okay, I don't judge people who do it. If that's what you like, that's what you like. But I can say that I think that plays a whole part. Oh, go ahead. Oh, he said 1 minute. I think that plays a whole part in marriage. I mean, we definitely black women don't have that many to choose from when it comes to black men. But when you put homosexuality into it, I mean, it really does cut our sources to pick from a little bit more scarce than usual. And I think that, and then on top of that, we have a lot of other ethnicities that are dating black men. So we got to kind of, to make our pool size a little bit more bigger, we have to date other races now, it seems like. I mean, even though I may be attracted to a black man and I want a black man, but the pool size is so small now, you don't know if he's bisexual, if he's going both ways. You don't know if he's interested in just this ethnicity and all this type of stuff. And I kind of thought that prison played into that too as well. If someone's been in prison their whole life, I mean, from 18 all the way up to their 30s or 40s, when they get out, they haven't really been with too many women from that time frame. That's literally practically your whole life, almost half of your life, not your life, half of your life. So when you get out, are you still interested in women? You know, and do
My
black
Kevin
women
Samuels
want
hat
to?
on.
Huh?
Let me put my Kevin Samuels hat on and give you some figures. So just to quote him.
Come
Now,
on,
he
Robert.
said that 51% of all black men are unmarried and don't have children. 60% of those are middle class. That's the case. It's not like there's no men out there. And as you yourself pointed out, a lot of black men are dating outside their race. So there are available and eligible and viable black men out there. I guess the question is, what are black women doing to compete?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, all right.
Not- yeah, he said exactly what I was thinking. I didn't know how to put it that way.
Okay.
Because a lot of my friends, a lot of my black guy friends, I mean, they're good guys looking for good women, but a lot of the black women are, I mean, they pass over them and they go for the no good guys. I mean, I see a lot of good guys out here, black guys, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I have my disagreements and agreements with what was said.
Okay.
Because to me, there ain't no competition when it comes to black women. To me, it's not. Like, I kind of place black women way up here, and this is based off of my own experience, my understanding of science and genetics when it comes to black women or black people. Period. I feel like we're of a higher crop, or fruit. Like, genetically, we're superior. We have less mutations. Like, this is stuff that's proven science. Um, we breed more intelligent children. Like, a lot of our children, 12, 13 years old, are hitting college. A lot, and they don't want to put that in the news, but that's happening. 12, 13, 14 years old hitting college. So I don't feel like there is a competition where what does a white woman bring versus I don't feel like any other woman could bring what a black woman could bring to the table. So I'm gonna just throw that out there.
That's good hearing a
Come
black
on,
man.
sir.
Let me tell you what they do bring. Cooperation.
Facts.
Wow.
But no, what he's saying is facts. But it also goes back to what he was saying previously. All of this is by design. This ain't just happened this way. Black women ain't just sway from men just because. Like, back when we first got here, they thought we was breeding animals. Like, they looked at us like, you a horse, you a dog, you a sex doll. Like, that's how they looked at us. And at the point that we got rights, they had a lot of them looking to ways to, well, they got their rights, but let's underhandedly screw them up so that you got, or even let's go back to slavery when how they'll separate all the men from their wives and pretty much embarrass the man in front of his wife, rape him, beat him, do whatever so that she don't see him like, dang, I thought he was strong. This man just got raped. Like, and this is stuff that subconsciously does things to a person's mind, even though she might know if it was a one-on-one, he would beat her. She still got to witness that trauma. She got to witness her man get broken half. So then you move on to whenever we did get right. Colored water on the colored section. We getting all of the shitty sections. While they, we got the colored water section. We can't go to college. Everything that America did to us was to off-root us from where we supposed to be at. And all of it, putting us in jail, placing drugs in our community, welfare to where the man ain't supposed to be in the house. All of that to me led us to where we at right now. So with that being said, a lot of the way women think now is this is something that's been passed on years and years. This is a way of thinking that's been passed on just like genetics. You don't need a man because this is stuff I've heard as a child. You don't need no man. You get it by yourself because a lot of the women was staying in their own house, even though it was given to them by the government and they were getting food stamps. You don't need no man. I've heard that all the time. I've never heard a man being told you don't need a woman. Never heard that.
Yeah.
Never heard it. Only heard women being told you don't need a man. All of this is by design. They put it on us and then unknowingly we pass it on and pass it on and pass it on till it's back it's back in it's the front and back of your hand. You're not thinking it's wrong. To you this life. Or even for instance, back when because I'm from Miami, Florida. So I was probably back home like a couple years ago and I'm in Family Dollar shopping and I hear this black woman talking to her daughter. Crazy. It's like this girl had to be like 4 years old. Stop it, you little bitch.
Oh yeah,
like,
I hate hearing that.
Yes. Stuff that you hear in the ghetto in the hood a lot. Now, in my household, even when we was staying in the hood, my mom would never allow anybody to talk to us like that. Cause my mom never called us out of our name.
Yeah.
Even to the point to where my grandma called my little sister a bitch. I was able to call my mom and be like, "Hey, grandma called Natasha a bitch." And my mom got on the phone with my grandma, told her ass off, and then got back on the phone with me and said, "Y'all go outside, do what y'all want to do." Because my mom understands that herself. All of that shit started up here, all that trauma and all of the negativity that bears down on you, and you gonna repeat it. And that's the plight of the black people. We've been repeating sickness and disease that was placed on us unknowingly. We don't know this. We just thinking this is how life is going on. And then now you have forward-thinking people like the people on this panel that understand there's different out there. We don't gotta follow the same narrative.
Right.
So like that's just to piggyback off of what Robert was saying. All of this was planned for us because they see it. They see us. They know all of the greatest sports, all of the strongest people, all of the smartest people are black people. They see this, so they try to place us at a disadvantage. That's why a lot of us broke and they rich because that's how they can hold their nuts up. Well, I'm rich, I got all this money, but I mean, at the end of the day, if your money not gonna save you if you're in that forest,
Right.
it's not gonna save you. We got the strength and know how to get through that forest that they can't get through. So they placed us at this disadvantage that's been happening for hundreds of years now.
Okay. All right. So that kind of cleared up. You guys, we are at 10 o'clock right now. So we've been up here for 2 hours. Well, close to 2 hours. And I just want to say I am so happy and so excited that y'all were able to come and spend 2 hours with me for my little channel. Thank you so much. Y'all are great. And what I can say is I think that this panel is going to give a lot of information out, different perspectives, because we have, 3 different men from 3 different places of life. And then you have us 3 women from different, different ways of thinking. I just think this was awesome. So I think everybody should give yourself a hand clap. And also, guess what, y'all? We didn't even introduce ourselves. We just literally just dove right in. I know we have the names on there, but because it's going to be on a public platform, I'm just going to say each person just say your name and what state you're from. We can say state instead of, okay? So my name is Portia. I don't care if everybody know where I'm at, but my name is Portia, and I live in Atlanta. And this is for my YouTube channel, Portia Lives a Life. And then we're just gonna kind of go. Jazz, I guess we can start. Oh, I already introduced you. Everybody introduce yourself.
Say my name, Jasmine, and I am from Georgia.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Me next. Oh, sorry. My name is Jeremy Jacobs. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. Currently staying in Somerville, South Carolina.
All right.
New York.
Robert.
I'm currently in Raleigh, North Carolina. Me all right? There's some interference.
Okay. Last but not least, the last male. Here.
I am Darian, and I am from Georgia.
Okay. All right.
All right, and I'll just introduce myself. My name is Mayana, and I'm also from Georgia. So, yeah.
Okay, guys.
Rihanna.
So we're just gonna go ahead and end it off tonight. And I just want to say one more time, thank you all for joining. I'm so happy I was so happy to see y'all when I came on here. Love it. So thank y'all so much. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
But I would definitely say you need to go to Kevin Samuel page and just literally look at all his content, y'all. It's definitely going to have you talking. Kevin Samuels, if you don't know who he is a gentleman. People call into his show or his channel, and they call him and they ask him for dating advice and marriage advice. And he literally gives it to them. If you want to hear someone's opinion, if you ask them something, you want to hear their opinion and you want them to tell it to you like it is, no sugarcoating, he is your guy. Literally, when he tells it to you, he don't just tell it, he'll drive it all the way in. So you'll know how he feel about it. Now, because he's very controversial, there's a lot of talk going on, a lot of people doing videos on him. But the one thing about it is, because of him, he's sparking a lot of conversation that a lot of people don't like to talk about. And in particular, men. A lot of men don't say exactly what they want to say. So I think by him speaking out, he's really opening up conversations that, never wouldn't have happened.